Nicholas J. Bosa, he has a hip injury, and he's listed as questionable. Kyle Shanahan was asked about it today, and he said that Bosa was very limited during this week's practices. Yesterday, he apparently injured his hip on Wednesday in practice. Hip pointer. You ever had a hip pointer before?
Never.
You know what a hip pointer is?
Yes, definitely. It's a very painful injury. But I definitely haven't had a hip pointer before. No.
Okay, so he got one on Wednesday. I saw him at practice on Thursday. He's going through individual drills. You've seen practices before. I mean, you've played football at a high level. Individual drills, I mean, they're grueling because you have to do them at 100% speed, but there's no contact.
Effort.
There's effort, but there's no contact. And like these professional athletes, they can do it in their sleep. He sort of, I don't know if he tapped out midway, but he left the field midway through individual drills and walked off under his own power. He wasn't limping or anything. He just walked off into the weight room, and I never saw him again. So when Kyle says he was extremely limited, I mean, to me, it looked like he didn't make it through individual drills on Thursday. So we can't predict whether he's going to play or not, but how important is Bosa in this game? Like, if he were to go down early or not play at all, how much would that change things?
I mean, it would definitely change things. Right now, you're looking at Gadecki as their right tackle. We know that usually that's where Nick Bosa lines up. You look at what they're going to be starting at with right tackle at Luke Gadecki. He's not really that good of an offensive guard, ranked 62 grade on PFF. Pretty good on, pretty middling on pass protection at a 70.6 grade, but run blocking very bad at a 58.6 grade. You look at a Nick Bosa being able to play against a guy like that. As a plus for us, especially with the anemic start that he's had as far as stats are concerned. One thing that I will tell you is that it's two-pronged, the way I look at it. You look at Nick Bosa in practice and you say, all right, can he get through individuals? Now, like you said, yeah, individuals are hard to get through. Definitely looking at, because individual periods in practice are more about 90% about effort, technique, making sure that you cover the little things, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's before you get to quote unquote real football. And if he couldn't get through that, which is more of a semi-intermediate to preliminary stage of practice versus actually going through team, that's something to be concerned about. But then on the flip side, you could look at it as he understands his worth to the defense. Not only does he, but so does Coach Kasarik and so does Kyle Shanahan. And he could put himself in a position where he knows how to gauge his body. I mean, there's no athlete on the 49ers that you could pick other than Nick Bosa as far as being a self-motivated guy who knows exactly how to get prepared for an NFL season. He knows his body, right? Coming back as fast as he did from multiple injuries, serious injuries. So with him being able to tap himself out, so to speak, by what your comments were from seeing what he did in practice, you could see himself kind of shutting himself down and understanding his worth, right? Saying like, hey, it's not that I'm done, but if we keep her fooling around, there's a tank on this, right? So if you want me around for Sunday at 1:00 in Tampa, maybe let's calm down on this stage of football. Now, also, one thing that is a common denominator with both of those scenarios is he is pacing, right? There is something there where he's not necessarily giving out his full exertion. So it's something to look at. Definitely, the Niners are not foreign to giving us surprises on game day about guys who are starting or who are playing. But it's just something to look at. But you could look at it in two different ways. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, look, he may play in this game, but I think it's pretty clear he's not 100% healthy. He was limited for Friday's walkthrough. So we'll see if he can make it through. We'll see if he has his typical snap share. We'll see what he does as a pass rusher. I mean, he's been sort of coming close, but not quite getting there when he's 100% healthy. It seems to me like the Niners pass rush this year is Bosa and the Bosettes. I mean, it's Bosa and Sam O. It's Bosa and God knows. And if he's not himself, man, that team doesn't have the receivers, but they have a good offensive line. They have a good quarterback. If he has time, it'd be a tough game.
They still need him regardless. It could be Bosa and the Bosettes, and I understand that narrative, but at the same time, what are they without him? I shudder to think.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
So right now, you could look at it from a standpoint of what can Nick Bosa give you in the term of sexy stats, right? Sacks, pressures, what he did last year. But one thing about it is that Nick Bosa is somebody that can be utilized in all assets of football. So it's not just the high flashy stuff where, hey, if the defensive line has the depth, we have somebody opposite him on the other side where the offensive line can't tilt, they can't shift, they can't fan over to him, they can't double team him, they can't chip him, right? If you get that, yeah, then you're going to see what Nick Bosa can do just playing football, right, with one man in front of him. But when you don't have a defensive line that has all of its parts, when you don't have another edge rusher that's at least adequate to what Nick Bosa can do, then you're going to have to be able to look for what Nick Bosa can give you in the film. Right. You're going to have to look at him, what he can give you in the run game, what he can give you in filling and keeping contained. Right. You got to be able to understand the intricacies of what defensive football gives you that he can't really get to the sexy stats because we don't necessarily have an adequate defensive line across the board. So right now, there's other ways to look for his worth rather than the big numbers.
Good call. Dave Barclay says, been a hell of a day. Need you guys to lift me up. I need you to lift me up, Dave. I've had a hell of a day, but we can do it together. People helping people. Jewish guy says, Grant, did you look up Pat's day? Yes. I didn't listen to him, though, because full disclosure, I am prejudiced against rappers who are from Canada. Full stop. I don't listen to him. I think you have to be from America